Well, guys, how's she going? So, yeah, got freaking flies back in the blazer again because I had the tailgate open for a good hour. And of course, there's flies that are pissed off because they're stuck to the fly trap thing. So, guess I have to keep one in the blazer for a few days again. Once it gets super cold off, or it starts getting really cold out, they'll be effing off. But yeah, we have a freaking north breeze here, or whatever the hell it is. It's a nice breeze. Holy shit, it's ever bringing in the freaking smoke. Within probably an hour or two, it's beyond smoke. You can't really see anything. It's not dust from the combiners. I know there's been the neighbors over here on the north side of the bridge there, they were harvesting their crops today, and they weren't really kicking up that much dust, and they had like what three or four combines in that field. But you know, they have, I guess, so many other fields too. It's just easier to shove them all in one field and get done quicker that way, I guess. But yeah, there's the moon. The moon looks kind of reddish because of the smoke. It is clear out, but it's just so bloody smoky now. But yeah, in other words, well, let's start with the grain truck. So I ran that thing a little bit today. It was really putting up a fight. I don't know what its problem was. I mean, actually, it'll lose fuel prime if it sits for too long. Well, that's what happened. It lost fuel prime. So it took a little bit to build the fuel prime back up, which, whatever. And then it started running, you know, and then I guess I should have tested it maybe before even leaving the yard. But I like to go into that 12-acre piece over there because that's where I can, you know, open the truck up and get a little bit of speed going, you know, just to make sure everything's lubed up real nice and whatever else. But unfortunately, it acted like it was running out of fuel, which I highly doubt it because I tested it and it was getting plenty of fuel. And then either that, or, well, it either acted like it wasn't getting any fuel, or it acted like somebody put a speed limiter on it and it wouldn't let it rev up to a certain amount of RPMs. So I don't know. Maybe there's gunk in the carburetor or something and it's not letting it open up all the way. But nonetheless, it died on me. I could not get it to refire. All it would do is just spin over. And it was getting spark most of the way, but we think it's not getting spark to the spark plugs. So if that's the case, then there's something wrong there with the electrical system. I forget what they call it, but I think it's the thingy that it spins. It's timed with the engine, so obviously, you know, when a piston's up all the way, well, then it knows to send spark to that cylinder. Forget the name of it, but we did clean the point, you know. I guess I thought the best that I could, and it didn't help it. So we decided to just tow the frickin' thing back to the yard, which got kind of interesting because obviously the truck doesn't have brakes. So, and my uncle is kind of horrible at judging speed versus, you know, motion, or like, you know, just his timing's crap is what it is, because he decides to come to a screeching halt right at the end there because we were going to switch over from pulling to pushing, because if he was to continue to pull me over the dike, then I would actually gain speed going down the ramp, and then I would rear end him. So we decided just to switch from there. Then he'll push me up the dike, just so that way if the truck does decide to run away, well, then it can just run away. It can, I mean, I'm driving it, obviously. I'm not going to let it just go wherever the hell it wants, but I can, eventually it'll come to a stop on its own. But I actually ended up, so I wouldn't rear end, because the way he stopped at the dike there just before the ramp, I was forced to shove the clutch in, put it in the second gear, and just let go of the clutch. I just had to hope that the engine could build enough friction or whatever to act like a brake. And it worked. It actually worked a little too well. It actually, I don't think it locked up the rear wheels. I think it was such a hard stop that I actually had the clutch in again, and then the truck would kind of roll a little bit, and then I would have to do it again. So not something I really wanted to do, but I'm not going to leave the truck out here, obviously, and who knows when we're going to get around to looking at it. It's not a priority thing. It's just not a fucking priority. So if it needs a whole new, electrical system there, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So the truck may end up sitting for a few years. I don't know. But yeah. So anyways, you'll see in the I got a couple of video clips here, or I guess one or something. I don't remember what I took, but we went shopping today. My grandma had to stop in the hardware. She wanted to get some fogger for fly control for the barn and whatnot, and I decided I'd get a couple of new bolts for that pulley, or the clutch pulley, whatever the thing is on the back of the little farmall, to run the mower. So it needed new bolts, and you'll see that these bolts are just, the old ones were just completely wore out. There wasn't really a lot of life left in those, telling me that they are probably the original ones to when the thing was new, and they've never been replaced ever in their adult life, in its entire life, because to get bolts that wore down, they have to be in there since day one. So that was just crazy. But I put new bolts in, I reused the locking washers, and then I put locking nuts on. Probably a little bit overkill, but that's what I did. I want to, just feel comfortable with it, knowing that it's going to be kind of hard for it to back off. And then you'll see in the video too that on the front side, like where the spring is on that thing, I put a piece of wire in there. That wire is for, I guess, like the castle nut, I guess you could call it. I don't really know what to call it. I think it's called the castle nut, but this is the giant one. Shut up. There is supposed to be, I think, a bolt going through there or something. I'm not really sure. I don't have any bolts that are long enough to fit through. So I just put a piece of wire through it. That all that does is just stops the nut from trying to back off. Which it probably won't happen, because considering that tractor has probably mowed a lot of hay without it being in there. So the chances of it coming off, it's probably pretty rusted on there anyway, so it's probably not going to come off. But it's cheap insurance. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put a piece of wire on it and call it day done. And then after that, I went and put it back on the tractor. Got everything nice and tight again like it should have been. And then I noticed that the gasket was leaking for the belt pulley up by the shaft. So I was like, well, what's going on there? Because there really shouldn't be no reason for it to leak. Because it wasn't leaking yesterday when I checked it out. So I don't know. I'm going to check it again tomorrow, I guess, or whatever. But all I did was I tightened the bolt some more. I don't know if that was a good call or not. I don't really know what's exactly wrong with it. So, yeah, but it can't leak. But I think if that was to leak again, it probably wouldn't be too bad to look into it again, because I don't think I really would have to pull it off the tractor again. I think I could just pull the cover off, take the bolt off the shaft, and just try to walk that cover off, and then check the gaskets. But there's only supposed to be one gasket and then a couple of shims, so I don't know. I'm not missing any parts. I double checked everything, and I'm not missing anything, you know, like it's all there. So I'm not really too sure what the hell's going on, but I tightened them again, and then I checked it again. It seemed like it was dry again, but who knows. The only thing that I noticed is, well, it caught my eye because I seen a drip fell right in front of me, like it was coming down the tractor, right? And I was like, oh, this can't be good. So I was like, well, what do I do? You know, it's like, well, I just tightened the bolts some more. They weren't loose, but they were, you know, I definitely got another, I don't know, half a turn to a full turn out of them. So that might have been my problem. I don't know. All I can do is just keep checking the bolts, and I don't want to tighten them too damn much. I don't want to, you know, like literally crush it. You know, you're supposed to have it tight, but there might be a thing that's too tight, you know. So, but it's not the seals. So I think we're going to be good on that, but I'm not going to hold my breath to it. As of right now, the seals for the PTO and the belt pulley shaft are not leaking. That's what I thought was leaking, but I ran my finger around it, you know, the belt or the belt pulley shaft, and it was dry, perfectly dry. So I was like, well, what's the problem? And I looked, and I was like, well, it's coming from the cover, so it's the gasket. But there's only supposed to be one gasket and then two shims, and I don't know. I think I have them stacked the way they're supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be shim, gasket, shim, or shim, shim, gasket. I don't know. I think I have it shim, shim, gasket, so I don't know. But I don't know. So I don't know if it's supposed to be shim, then the gasket, then another shim. Personally, I didn't think it mattered, because I figured the shims were just to take up any extra slop or slack or whatever, you know, and help make it a little bit of a tighter seal. I don't know. So, but yeah, it's freaking 8:30, and look how dark it is already. Before I know it's going to be dark at 6. It's disgusting. Hate winter. Absolutely hate it. This last winter, I guess, wasn't too bad. I mean, we had a pretty late winter, but then I think we had kind of a, well, we didn't get much snow either, which was a plus, but, I don't know. I don't know what I like better. Because if you get too much rain, like this year we had an awesome amount of rain, but it came all at, like, literally one time, so the roads are freaking slop. The roads finally got graded a few days ago. Somebody finally came down with a grader and graded them, but they did, of course, again, they did a kind of a shitty job. I mean, they filled in most of the ruts. Like, there's a couple small ones, but it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know. I guess we'll just see. I think they're supposed to bring new gravel too, but I don't know. There was talk of they were supposed to bring in new gravel, but I doubt it. Without me bringing in a new fucking gravel, nobody's going to get to enjoy it. You know, because then there's going to be snow flying, and all that great fresh gravel is just going to get fucking shoved off into the ditch. You got to do that in the freaking springtime when people can actually enjoy it. So, but yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. The tractor is 100%, 100% put together. It's obviously still looking for leaks. Had one. Don't know if I fixed it or not. I just tightened the bolts some more. I don't think I could get those bolts any tighter than that now. I mean, I think it's pretty much maxed out. But that could have been the problem too. It's just, you know, like, I mean, it took a little bit though for it to leak. That's what I don't understand, because this has been done for, what, almost 2 days now, and it's just deciding to leak a little bit today. So, I don't know. So, but yeah, and for, like I said, for the grain truck, I think that's pretty much done. My uncle says that the best thing to do would be to kind of come out at night like this, and he was saying to maybe hook up some baling, or not baling wire, but electric fence wire to one of the spark plugs, and then just touch it to something else and see if we can actually create a spark to confirm that the truck still even has spark. But when we'll ever do that, I don't know. So, but I don't know. But at this point, it is what it is. At this freaking point, I don't care. It's just, the truck's done. I don't think I'm going to run it anymore this year. I think it ran for probably a good half hour in the yard, and then I came out here and drove it around for another 10-15 minutes, and then it conked out, and I had to walk all the way home. So, but what do? You know, there's nothing you can do. You just gotta freaking put up with it. So, but the truck's old, and you know, it's gonna have some problems. But fortunately, the truck's not priority. I need the tractor more. So, but as of right now, that was the main thing that was leaking on it, was the PTOs. So I did that now. I think the front right steering tire is either the seal went out for that, or the grease just went bad and it's turning into water. I don't know. But I'm going to, don't know if that'll be a next year thing or not. I don't know. I probably should take the tire off, put new seals in it, inspect the bearings, and then just kind of retorque everything again and be done with it. So, I don't know. But that's next year's problem. This year, it was just to fix the PTOs, and I think if it holds up, then it would have been a job well done. If it fails, well, then I'm going to cry. So, but what are you going to do, you know? So, just glad it's over with. I just pray that, you know, it'll work. Now, like I said, it was that gasket was leaking, but that could have just been maybe the bolts weren't tight enough. You know, and oil was able to seep down in there, and then just with time, gravity, you know, forced it out. So, hopefully now, it'll stay tight and not leak anymore. So, there might always be a tiny bit, I don't know if it's supposed to be this way or not, but there could be, you know, a slight bit of oil that comes out of the seals. I don't think they're 100% proof, but and it might just be like a thin layer. I don't know, but I know that the hydraulic rams do that, like the cylinders for like loaders and stuff. They always leave a slight film of oil behind after each cycle. I think that's more or less just to protect everything, keep everything lubed, which would make sense, but it doesn't pour out. It's a very thin layer. You probably, I mean, you can feel it with your finger, but you're not going to be able to, you know, fill a pail there or anything. So, but other than that, it's fine. So, but I mean, if it just does that, I guess, you know, like it's a very thin layer of oil, that probably won't be too big of a deal then. But if it can't be a leak like what we were having, and hopefully the seals will work. So far they're working, but we'll give it a few more days. So, but I guess, guys, I'm going to take off. So I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.